Okay, so can you all see my screen? Say yes or no. Yes, okay, very good. Let's begin. All right. So today we're going to start our new unit. All right, solving inequalities. We just learned how to solve equations, and inequalities are basically not equal. So, and they're solved similar ways. So we're going to learn about solving inequalities this unit, and the next unit, I think we're going to be learning about the functions. Then we can move faster. Okay. So for our class schedule, we're going to go over our homework questions from the Unit 2 review homework, go over some simple inequalities, some examples, and some practice problems. Right. Are there any questions about our schedule today? No? Okay. So for the homework questions, these I included some hard ones, all right? But most of you got them correct. So that is very good. So number one, I'd like everybody to participate. So if you can unmute yourselves and walk me through how are you going to do this problem? Okay, so what is our first step here? Okay, the answer is 3, right? But how are we going to get to our answer, right? So does anybody know? So unmute yourselves if you can. And so who can help me with this problem? Okay.
So basically, if the number is
Yes. Basically, I think no way. Oh yeah, you make an equation 2x minus 12 equals to 3x minus 15. And then you can solve.
Yes. So 2 times a number, assuming the number is x. Okay, so the number is equal to x. 2 times that decreased by, hold on. What did I do? Wrong numbers, wrong numbers. Oh, that was correct. I accidentally wrote 13. So 2x minus 12, right, is equal to 3 times the number minus 15. Okay, so pretty easy. Just have to set up that equation and then you just solve for x. So if you move this to that, and then it's a negative 15 to the other side, and you get x is equal to 3. Okay, so the number is 3. All right, the number is 3. Okay, so I hope everybody got that answer. Did everybody get that answer? Okay, so 3. Very good. So our second question here. All right, so everybody post your answers in the chat. And then can anybody help me with this? How are we going to do this? Okay, so solve for f. Okay, so we're going to solve for f. Okay, and this is the relation between the Celsius and the Fahrenheit temperature. Okay, so this is quite a useful formula. And okay, so how are we going to do this? Okay. So what we need to do is we need to get rid of this 5/9, okay? Because we don't like fractions. They're very hard to deal with. So we like, how are we going to deal with this? Okay. So what we need to do is we need to multiply both sides by 9/5 to get rid of it. Okay, so 9/5 times c is equal to 5/9 times 9/5. You see, these canceled out. Okay, and then you just get f is minus 32. Then you get f is equal to 9/5 c plus 32. Okay, so Fahrenheit is equal to 9/5 times the Celsius plus 32. Okay, so are there any questions about this? Any questions? You could also say the 160 over the 5.
Hey, can you go back, please? Thanks.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks.
So another way you could do this, I also got some answers. 9c plus 160 over 5. Okay, that also works. All right, but I prefer this method. Okay, this one. Preferred answer. Okay, I feel like it's more simplified. Okay, so let's go on. Number 3. Okay, so who can help me with this? If you can, unmute yourself. How are we going to do this one? Okay, does anybody know what is our first step here?
So our first step is to do t over 2 pi equals to L, the square root of L over G.
Yes. So you divide both sides by 2 pi. Okay, therefore getting rid of the 2 pi on that side. And then, what is our next step?
Then you do t over 2 pi in parentheses to the power of 2, and then do the other side to the power of 2 also. So you get rid of the square
Right.
root sign.
You square both sides, right? You square both sides.
And then after that, you move the g to the other side. So it's g times t over 2 pi squared. So when after that you move the g to the other side. So basically L equals to g times t over 2 pi to the power of 2.
Yes. Very good. Very good. Did everybody understand that? No questions, right? L is equal to G times T over 2 pi squared. And you do not need to simplify this. Okay, do not. Do not multiply. No. Okay, it's already simplified. Okay, already simplified. So do not multiply out. Okay. If you do, you get t squared over 4 pi squared, which not ideal. Okay, so just keep the square there. You don't need to multiply it out. This is the most simplified form. Okay, so did everybody get that? Are there any questions, right? No questions, right? Okay, yep. Very good, very good. Okay, so our next question, okay, I'll actually give you a bit of time. Okay, so everybody, I'll give you a few moments to post your answers in the chat, okay? So this one was quite a long problem, so I'll give you a few moments. Did not do it yet. Okay. All right. Do we have any answers? We have 7 answers. Okay. Put a 0. So answer is 0. Okay. Very good. So who can help me with this? All right. How are we going to do this problem? And x is equal to 0. That's correct.
So
How are we going to do this?
the first step is to do x minus 1 minus 3x over 2 over 4 minus 2 minus x over 4 over 3 equals to 11, negative 11/12.
Okay. So we could do it that way.
I'm so confused by what he just said.
So what he meant is just moving it. Just moving it, right?
Wait, it's supposed to be negative 11/12.
Okay. Yeah.
And
And then-
after that, wait, what?
And then what are we going to do?
And after that, we do x equal minus 1/4 minus 3x over 2 over 4 minus 2/3 minus x over 4 over 3 equals to negative 11/12.
What?
The
So
x
are you
minus
combining the fractions or are you simplifying the fractions?
I'm separating those two big fractions.
These two.
Yeah, I'm separating those two fractions.
Then it should be like this.
Oh yeah. Well, I did 3x over 2 over 4, so basically it is 3x over 8.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. And then we have
Right.
plus x over 12.
Well, it's plus.
Yeah. 2 negatives.
Oh.
Well, it doesn't matter because x is equal to 0, so whatever. But no matter what you do, it's always equal to 0. So, well, we don't know that yet. So just remember that it's parentheses first. Okay, these are parentheses. So you see negative sign outside and then negative sign in, so it's positive. But the reason your answer did not change is because the x does equal to 0, but we do not know this at this stage yet. So do not make those kind of careless mistakes. And also we can do this side. Equals equal to 0. It's just easier to deal with. Okay. So now, since we can multiply 0 by anything and it still equals 0, so it's more convenient. Now we can do something. We're going to multiply this whole thing by
0.
multiply the whole thing by 0. That's not ideal because we get rid of the x2, then we get 0 is equal to 0. So we don't find what x is. So what do we multiply this whole thing by? To get rid of these fractions. Remember these denominators. What is the least common multiple of these denominators?
It's how do you say it? 24.
Yeah, 24. We multiply
Yes, okay,
everything by
24.
20.
So we multiply all of this by 24, and of course this side still equals to 0, right? Still equals to 0. Okay? So
Mhm.
then we get 24x, right? So minus what? Okay, what does this 1/4 turn into if we multiply by 24?
1/4 equals to 6.
Yeah, 6 plus the 24 times the 3.
9x.
Yes. Okay. Minus.
Wait. 16
Yes.
plus 2x.
Correct.
plus 22.
Yes, very good. All right, then you combine like terms. Quite easy, right? It's quite easy to combine like terms. So then we get 35x, right? And then what is this? Minus. Okay. This cancels out. All of these cancel out actually, right? The 22 minus the 16 is going to be 6. And 6 minus 6 is equal to 0. So we're adding 0 here. So the numerals actually cancel out. So then you get 35x. And actually doesn't matter how many x's there are. As long as it's equal to 0, then we know that x is equal to a 0 over 35 is equal to 0. Okay, so x is equal to 0. Okay, so doesn't matter. You have 23x is equal to 0. 1/4 x is equal to 0. It's always x is going to be equal to 0. Because you divide, 0 divide by something, right? Always equal to 0. Unless you're dividing by 0, then it's undivided. Okay. Any questions? Okay, you did it a different way. Okay, Hugo, how did you do it? Did you combine the fractions?
I moved the 1 minus 3x divided by 2 divided by 4 to the other side. And then I combined like terms. I converted everything to 12s. And then I simplified. I got rid of the 12. I got to 24x equal to negative x minus 9x. And then so x goes to 0.
Okay, so that also works. They move to this side and then combine. All right, also works. You could combine the fraction, that kind of simplify. But I still think that this way, all right, it's more faster, right? It's more clean. Okay, so if you combine these fractions, you could get the same answer. Okay, it's fine. However, see, if you combine, there's already fractions within these fractions. So basically, you're kind of combining a lot of fractions here. So it's going to be pretty messy. So if you instead did this, okay, and then you multiply everything by 24, it's easier. It's cleaner to see. Okay, so I prefer this method because it's faster. Okay. Last question. This one, number 5, is actually one of those math counts problems. Okay, this one is, you'll see this in like math competition, math Olympiads. Actually not math Olympiad. This is too easy for a math Olympiad. But math competition, okay, this one, calculate the value of a plus b plus c. Okay, how can you do this fast? All right, and they give you a plus b is equal to 229, b plus c is equal to 45, and a plus c is equal to 44. All right, so I'll give you a few moments to put your answers in the chat. Okay, so what did you get on the homework? And then let's see who got it correct. I'll give you a couple moments. All right. All right. So let's see who has answer 59. Okay, so most people got 59. 637. How you get 637? but 59 is correct. 59. All right, so how are we going to do this?
It says that a plus b equals 29, b plus c equals 45, and a plus c equals 44. So that means that a plus b plus c plus a plus c equals all of those numbers added together, which is 118. And you could also just rearrange them into a plus b plus b plus c plus c, and notice that all the variables like repeat twice. So, and we need to find the sum of just one of each. So then we can take 118 and just divide it by 2.
Yes, very good. All right, so that's how we do it. Combine a plus b plus c plus a plus c. Okay, then we factor the 2 out. Okay, factor the 2 out. Then you just know that a plus b plus c is equal to 59. Okay, very good. Any questions on how we did this? Are there any questions? Oh, how do you do question 4? Question 4. I'll go back to question 4. Okay. So question 4 is actually not that hard. Okay. So you just move this and this to the other side, right? And then since we're dividing, like for example, this, dividing both by 4, right? So it's going to be negative 1/4 plus 3x over 2 over 4, which is plus 3x over 8. And then you multiply everything by like the common multiple, right? 24. Okay, then you can get your answer. So it's not that hard. Okay, so let's go on to inequalities. So the definition of an inequality is a relation that makes a non-equal comparison between two numbers or mathematical expressions. Okay? That is what is a inequality. So some examples of inequalities, for example, 3 is greater than 1. Okay, that can be an inequality. Or in this case, we're working with algebra, right? You can have x is greater than or equal to x plus 1. Okay? Or x plus. Well, then we have something like 0 is greater than or equal to 1, which is no solution. Well, okay, let's not deal with that yet. Okay, well, you get the idea, right? 1 is equal to or less than or equal to 2. Okay, so as long as it's not equal, okay, non-equal comparison. But inequalities, they can have like 4 signs. Okay, so you're familiar with these, right? These 2 signs. Okay, so less than or greater than. But we can also, okay, start inequality signs. All right, so we have the less than. We have the greater than, assuming this is x. Okay, then we have the less than or equal to. All right, and then similarly, we have the greater than or equal to. All right, are there any questions on our inequality signs? Any questions on this? If there are no questions, all right, Then I'll continue on inequalities. So solving inequalities is actually very similar. Okay, it's actually very similar to the okay, it's very similar to the solving equations. Okay, so key points. Okay, key points. Let's put it right here. Key points. Okay. So it is first solved similarly. Similarly to equations. Using inverse operations. Okay, so using inverse operation. Okay, so that's how we do it. So using inverse operations, we can solve inequalities very similarly to equations, except they're not equal. So let's and then there's a catch though. It's not entirely similarly to equations.
So when dividing or multiplying by negative numbers, don't we have to switch
The inequalities.
the inequality signs, right?
Yes. Okay, that is the catch. That is another key point. Okay. When dividing. Okay. When dividing or multiplying. When dividing or multiplying by a negative, flip the sign. So what do I mean? So, i.e., if you have less than turns into greater than, okay? And greater than, okay, turns into less than, okay? The opposite. Similarly, less than or equal to turns into greater than or equal to. Then greater than or equal to turns into less than or equal to. So flip the sign, basically the opposite of the sign. All right, so let's do a little exercise. So negative 3x is greater than or equal to 1. What is x? Okay, what is x? How are we going to imply this? Okay, how do we find? Using these 2 key points, all right? Using these 2 key points, how are we going to do this? Okay, so can anybody help me with this? Using these 2 key points, all right? Remember, very similar to equations. Solve similarly. All right, so how are we going to do this? Any ideas on solving this? Negative 3x is greater than or equal to 1. So,
Wait, what?
yeah, go on.
Okay, so do we first divide both sides by -3?
Yes. And then?
And we flip and then x is equal to or less than or equal to -1/3.
Oh wait.
Yes. Okay, remember to flip the sign. Right, this is very important. Okay. Flip the sign. Okay, very important when you're dividing or multiplying by negative. Okay, because usually you say, oh, when you're dividing, okay, dividing that's flip the sign. Okay, when you multiply, still same thing because dividing is multiplying. Okay, dividing is multiplying, right? If you divide by -1/3, is just well, divide by -3 is just multiply by -1/3. All right. So same thing, So both multiplying and dividing by a negatives, you have to flip the sign. So remember that it is a key point, or otherwise you're going to get a lot of questions incorrect. So let's go over this example. Okay. So for this example, it's quite easy, right? Remember inverse operations, we just move it to the other side. 7x is greater than 21 and x is greater than 3. Why did I not flip the sign? Because I did not multiply or divide anything by a negative. Okay, so I do not need to flip the sign. But when you are doing that, then you need to flip the sign. Okay. So moving on. Let's go on to our second example. Okay. So again, move the 2 to the other side. Less than 4. Okay. So then what do we do? Can anybody help me with this? How are we going to do this?
Do we divide? Oh, wait, never mind. Do we multiply both sides by 3
and then switch
by
the
negative
sign?
3?
Yes. Multiply both sides by negative 3. All right. So yes.
So it'll be negative x is less than negative 12. Wait. Oh yeah, x is less than negative.
Yeah, no, x is greater than negative 12.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So why do we switch the sign? Look at it this way, right? So what if instead of having x stay here, we moved it to there, right? Then we have 1/3 of x is equal. I mean, it's not equal anymore. Okay, is greater than negative 4. Right? Still same thing, right? You need to like multiply or divide by a negative number because you moved it to the other side. Okay, so that's why it works. All right. Any questions on this? Any questions? We don't get it. Okay, what part do you not get? Okay, I can explain it again. Okay, Zebo.
I just like don't really get the part where like when you multiply and divide, like you flip the sign.
Okay. Why do you not get it? Right.
Whatever.
It's actually very simple. Okay, so how about do you think if we go over more practice problems, you'll understand? Okay, this one isn't that hard to understand. Okay, so whenever just multiply by a negative, right? You have like 2. Actually, how about we model it? How about we model it with real numbers, right? So can anybody give me an example?
Like negative 8 is
Two,
less
two,
than
two is
less
bigger
than
than
negative
2.
4.
2 is bigger than 8. There's 2 is smaller than 8, sorry.
2 is less than 8. Okay, let's do that. All right, so let's use 2 is less than 8. Okay, whoever that gave me that. Okay, that's good. So what do you want to multiply it by? Let's multiply both sides by negative 1. Then we have negative 2 is less than negative 8. Is this still true? No, it is not true anymore. So you have to flip the sign now, right? So that's why it works, all right? So now that I've modeled it with like real numbers, okay, instead of just variables, that kind of stuff, do you think you understand a little bit more? Right? So,
I think another example could be negative 2 is less than negative 1. So you have to do, so if you do a negative 2 divided by negative 2, and you do negative 2 divided by negative 1, and you do negative 1 divided by negative 1, then then 2, and you don't flip the sign, then it's 2 is less than 1, which won't make sense anymore.
All right, so you have to prove by contradiction, right? Prove by contradiction, then you can get this, right? So let's go over some practice problems. All right. So I'll give you a few moments to do this. All right. X plus 1. Okay, solve the inequality for x. All right. So we have some answers. X is greater than -9. Okay. And then the x is greater than -6. Okay. Kaylee says -6 greater than x. Okay, so x is less than 6. Okay. Then we have a contradiction here. Ethan says x is greater than -6. So is it less than or is it greater than? Right. So William, do you have your answer yet? Okay, never mind.
Not yet. I forgot that you can't have x on both sides. What after I sent it, so I said never mind.
Okay, okay. All right, I'll leave this up for a while.
Are we solving it yet?
Yeah. I'll give you guys some more time to solve. All right, so who hasn't answered yet? All right, I haven't seen any answers from Kelly. Okay, so make sure you submit answers if you have them. All right, Phineas, Aiden, Eric. Right, I don't think I've seen answers from you yet. So make sure you're doing the problems, okay? All right, let me just go over it now. All right, so what we need to do is we need to multiply everything by 2, right, to get rid of this. Right, so 2x plus 2 is less than 3x plus 8. So x is greater than -6. Right, move this, move this. Are there any questions? Greater than -6, yes. So for those who got x is less than -6, okay, so do you understand why you made a mistake now? Okay. Yes. Okay, you can copy it. So just multiply both sides by 2 and then you just combine like terms, okay? So pretty easy problem, okay? Really easy. So let's move on. 8 is less than or equal to 4 times 7x plus 3, okay? So give you a few moments to do this. All right. Okay. All right. We have -1 less than or equal to the 7x. Okay. And then we have -1/7 is greater than or equal to 7 or x. Okay, then we have -1/7 is less than or equal to x.
How do you do that sign? Oh, never mind.
Oh, so I think it only works on some keyboards, but I press the Alt or Option button, and I press the less than or the greater sign and then it made that sign.
Actually, let me try that. I haven't heard of that before. Okay, never mind. I don't know. Maybe it just works on certain types of computers, but if you can't do it, just do the less than sign or the greater than sign plus the equal sign. Okay,
So,
it's still
like I click the greater sign, and then it's like this greater sign with another diagonal below it.
okay.
I tried it. It works.
It works.
Yeah.
Oh, great. That's great. Okay, so let's see. So we all agree that it is somehow equal to -1/7, right? We just don't agree whether on x is greater than or equal to -1/7 or less than or equal to -1/7. So what is it? So let's see. Remember, just do the distributive property. Very easy. Okay. So you see here, 28x is greater than -4. So x is greater than -1/7. Right? Any questions on this? Right, if there are no questions, then actually these answers quite easy, right? These questions are quite easy. So I think I can just walk you through this, right? Actually, how about let's do this with more interactively. Okay, so if you can unmute yourself and let's work through these problems together. Okay, it's more fun that way. All right. So number 3, can anybody help me with it? Right.
So the first step is to multiply both sides by 2. So it's basically 2 times 7x minus 3 or 14x minus 6 is less than 5. I mean greater than 5x. And then
Okay.
after that, we move the 5x we move the 14x to the other side, I think. Or
You can,
yeah.
you can do it
So
this way.
9x is less than 6. And we
Yeah.
divide both sides by 9. So it's x is less than
2/3. X is less than 2/3.
It's greater than 2/3.
I mean, yeah, greater than 2/3.
All right, because we did nothing about multiplying or dividing anything negative. Right? So next, all right, I want somebody that hasn't spoken yet. Right? So how about Kelly? Okay, Kelly. Do you have any ideas on how to do this problem? Okay. How do you do this? If you can unmute yourself, okay, if you can unmute yourself, please help me with this. How are we going to do this? Okay, I want some participation. Okay, let's see who is here. How about Aiden? Can you talk? how are we going to solve this problem? All right, how are we going to solve this one? Can somebody unmute yourself? Okay. How are we going to do this? Somebody unmute yourself and
So
I'm pretty sure multiply both sides by 6.
right.
Yeah.
Correct. And
then after that, we move the 4x to the other side.
yeah. Right.
And after that, we divide both sides by negative.
Correct. Right. Remember to flip the sign. Remember to flip the sign. Okay.
And then we flip the sign.
Yes. All right. So our last problem. Okay. Our last problem is, all right, x plus 2 is greater than 1 over 3 times x minus 2. Okay, so how are we going to do this? We multiply everything by 3, right? So everything by 3, then we can get this. Okay, 2x greater than negative 8. X is greater than negative 4, right? Did everybody understand how I did this? Everybody.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go over some special occasions. Okay, so let me test you guys. Okay, I do not expect you to solve these right now, okay, because these are just notice these, okay? So right now we're only dealing with these simple ones, and you do not know how to solve these complicated ones. All right, so we have let's see. Okay, so 7x minus 3 is over, let's say, just x plus 3 is less than 4. So how do we solve this? Does anybody know how we solve this? Okay,
I actually have no idea.
not know how to solve this because you can't really solve this right now. I haven't taught you the way. So how do you do this? Does anybody know?
I don't really know. So, do we multiply? Do we multiply both sides by? Wait, never mind. We can't do that.
or can
Why?
Wait,
can
or
we not?
do we multiply both sides by x plus 3?
Yeah, I think you can do.
So the question is, can you multiply x plus 3 to both sides? This is a big question. Can you? So everybody in in the chat, let's discuss this a bit. Can you multiply, can you cross multiply x plus 3? Okay, can you cross multiply x plus 3? Right? Can you? So what does everybody think? Right? No. Okay, so Finney says yes. Okay, Ethan says x, if x is positive, yes. Okay, William says yes. Isabel says no. Hugo says pretty sure yes. Okay, so everybody discuss. Can you multiply x plus 3? Okay, and so most of our answers are yes, but the answer is no. Okay, we cannot do this. Isabella is correct. We cannot do this. First of all, this is inequality. Okay, so if this is all right, if this is an equation, okay, we can do this. Right. So if this is equal to 4, okay, I don't care. Cross multiply all you like. Okay, the same thing. Okay, but for inequalities you cannot do this. Right. The answer is no. Okay, so the answer is no. Okay. Why? It's because x plus 3 could be negative or positive. So we don't know, right? If we multiply x plus 3, okay, it could be positive, right? Then nothing changes. Still less than 4 times x plus 3. But what if it's negative? If you multiply it's negative, then we have to flip the sign, right? Right, so the answer is no. You cannot multiply because you don't know what it is yet. Worst case scenario, x is equal to negative 3. Then you're dividing by 0 and the final solution. Okay, so it's a very, very dangerous thing. So don't multiply by 3, x plus 3, okay? You won't get the answer. Okay, and so how do we solve this? Okay, there is a solution for this. There is a solution, and you can solve it. Okay, so the thing is, what you need to do is you need to get x minus 3 over x plus 3. Okay, minus 4 is less than, and then combine these, then you get something. Okay, it's less than 0. Then it's a quadratic inequality. But that's for algebra 2. Okay, so not for you guys. Okay, too hard for you guys. So that's for algebra 2. So we're not going to work with those yet. We did combine them. Let's say we did combine them. Let's say we did combine them. Okay, if we did combine them, okay, just a bit of fun. Okay, you don't need to take notes on this. This is way too hard. Okay, just a bit of fun. All right, so 7x minus 3, right? Then minus 4x minus 12. Okay, that's when you combine. This 3 is less than 0, right? Okay, so then you get what? Negative 11x minus 15 over x plus 3. Okay, then it's equal to negative 1, 11x plus 15, right? Okay, then like this, right? Then, okay, this like, now you have to solve it like a quadratic inequality. So that's too hard. Okay, so I will not give you a question like this, but if you ever see a question like that, okay, remember you cannot cross multiply. Same with this. If you see this, okay, cannot do it. Okay, cannot do it. All right, that is all for today. Okay, that is all for today. Thank you for listening. Okay, thank you for listening, and I'll post the homework tonight. All right, so make sure to turn it in as soon as you can. All right, so thank you for listening. Goodbye. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. See you next.
Wait, actually, hold on. For those who are still remaining, thank you for not needing me. Just a heads up, there's no class next week. Okay, it is spring break next week. Okay, our spring break, so there is no class next week. Right? Everybody good with that? Actually, I'll make an announcement in the classroom. All right, announcement in the classroom. Okay, there's no class next week, so have a nice spring break. Okay, I won't see you next week. Well, I can't do it next week either because I'm going on vacation. So, but next week we'll still have class. So have a great spring break, everybody. I'll see you next week.
Bye.
See you next week. Okay.